At 16, I was thrown out with $15. Years later, my family begs to live in my $800,000 house. My name is Maya Chin, and I've always been invisible. Growing up in Portland, Oregon, I was what my father called the spare. Not the heir, not the important one, just extra. He said it like it was a fact of nature, like saying the sky is blue or water is wet. Your brother is the heir, Maya. You're the spare. That's just how it is. My older brother, Derek, was everything to them. Captain of the soccer team, straight A student, president of student council. He had the bigger bedroom, the newer car, the endless chances to screw up without consequences. His bedroom faced the river with this incredible view. Mine faced the neighbor's fence. When Derek got a 3.8 GPA, there was a celebration dinner at the nicest steakhouse in town. When I got a 4.0, my dad said, "That's nice," without looking up from his phone. I started noticing the differences early, like really early. I was maybe 8 years old when I realized that Derek's Christmas presents were wrapped in fancy paper with elaborate bows, while mine came in gift bags from the dollar store. Same Christmas, same parents, different levels of effort. My mom, Susan, was worse in some ways because she was subtle about it. She'd make Derek's favorite meals 3 times a week. When I asked for my favorite, her homemade dumplings, she'd sigh and say, "That's so much work, Maya. Can't you just eat what everyone else is eating?" But the worst part wasn't the material stuff. It was the emotional absence, the complete lack of interest in who I was as a person. I remember in 5th grade, I won this huge art competition, like citywide. My painting was going to be displayed in the Portland Art Museum for a whole month. I was so excited. I ran home with the certificate, bursting through the door, ready to show them. My dad was helping Derek with his science fair project. Derek's project was about whether plants grow better with music. Groundbreaking stuff, right? When I showed them my certificate, my dad glanced at it for maybe 2 seconds. "That's great, honey. Derek, hand me that glue stick." They never came to see my painting at the museum. Not once during the entire month it was displayed. But when Derek's science fair project got 3rd place at the school level, didn't even make it to regionals, we all had to attend the ceremony. My mom took photos. My dad posted on Facebook about how proud he was. I learned to stop expecting things. Stop hoping they'd show up, show interest, show anything resembling parental pride. By the time I hit middle school, I'd basically raised myself. I figured out the bus system to get to school because my parents were always too busy driving Derek to practice. I learned to cook because I got tired of eating cereal for dinner when they'd go to Derek's games. I taught myself how to do laundry because my mom would do Derek's clothes but somehow always forgot mine. And you know what's messed up? I started to believe them. Started to believe I was less important, less worthy, just the spare. I threw myself into school and work. Got a job at 15 at a local diner, washing dishes and bussing tables. Saved every penny because something in me knew I'd need it. My parents never asked where I was or what I was doing. As long as I wasn't causing problems, I didn't exist to them. Derek, meanwhile, was coasting. He was popular, sure, but he was also lazy as hell. His grades started slipping in 10th grade, dropping from As to CS. My parents hired him a tutor. When that didn't work, they started asking me to help him. "Maya, you're good at math. Can you explain this to your brother?" I did it. Like an idiot, I did it. I spent hours tutoring Derek, helping him scrape together passing grades. I even wrote a few of his papers when he was too stressed to finish them himself. Did they thank me? Did they appreciate that I was the only reason Derek didn't fail out of high school? Nope. My dad just clapped Derek on the back when his report card improved and said, "See, son, I knew you had it in you." But the breaking point, the moment that destroyed whatever was left of my relationship with my family, happened the summer before my junior year. Derek was 17, just got his license. My parents bought him this brand new Honda Civic. Not used, not handed down. Brand new. One night in July, Derek and his friends threw a party at someone's house. I know because he bragged about it at dinner, talking about how epic it was going to be. My parents just smiled indulgently, telling him to be safe. Around 2 in the morning, I heard stumbling outside, then the garage door opening, then a crash. I ran downstairs and found Derek in the garage, sitting on the concrete floor next to the Civic. The front end was completely smashed in. The headlight was dangling by a wire. There was a huge dent in the hood. Derek was crying, blood running down from a cut on his forehead. He reeked of beer. "Maya," he sobbed when he saw me. "Maya, you can't tell them. Please. I'm so screwed. I'm so fucking screwed." "You drove drunk." I whispered, horrified. I wasn't that drunk. I hit a mailbox, and then a fire hydrant, and I think maybe someone's fence. I don't know. I panicked and drove home. He grabbed my arm, his fingers digging in hard enough to bruise. "You have to help me. Please. Dad will kill me. He'll take the car. He'll ground me for the entire year. I'll lose everything." I should have woken up our parents right then. Should have let Derek face the consequences of his actions. But I was 16, and some stupid part of me thought that maybe if I helped him this one time, he'd finally see me as a real sister. Maybe my parents would finally see that I was valuable. "Tell them I took the car," I said. Derek's eyes widened. "What?" "Tell them I snuck out and took your car without permission. Say you woke up and found it crashed. I'll say I panicked and didn't know what to do." "Maya, they'll kill you. They'll be disappointed. There's a difference." God, I was so stupid. So desperately, pathetically stupid. The next morning, Derek woke up our parents early. I heard them talking in hushed, urgent voices before anyone came to my room. My door flew open. My dad stood there, his face red with anger. "Get up. Now." I followed them downstairs to the garage. My mom was standing there with her arms crossed, staring at the destroyed car. Derek was leaning against the wall, looking at the floor, his forehead bandaged. "Did you take your brother's car last night?" my dad demanded. I'd prepared for this, rehearsed it in my head all night. "Yes." "Where did you go?" "Just driving. I wanted to practice." "You don't have a license." "I know. I'm sorry." My mom stepped forward, and I saw something in her face I'd never seen before. Actual anger directed at me. She was usually just indifferent, but this was different. "Do you have any idea how much this is going to cost to repair? Do you know how stupid and selfish this was?" "I'm sorry," I repeated, my voice small. "Sorry doesn't fix the car, Maya." My dad's voice was cold, controlled. Somehow that was worse than yelling. "Your brother trusted you. We trusted you, and you betrayed that trust." I glanced at Derek. He was still looking at the floor, not defending me, not telling them the truth, just letting me take the fall like we'd planned. Except it didn't feel like a plan anymore. It felt like a trap. "You're grounded for the rest of the summer," my mom said. "No phone, no computer, no leaving the house except for work. And you'll pay for the repairs." "Pay for them?" I couldn't help the shock in my voice. "That's going to be thousands of dollars. Should have thought of that before you stole your brother's car." I worked at the diner for $6 an hour. After taxes, I was bringing home maybe $200 a week. The repairs were estimated at $4,000. I'd be paying it off for months. But I didn't argue. I took the punishment because I thought that was it. I thought I'd protected Derek, taken the hit, and now we could all move on. I was wrong. 3 weeks later, Derek's friend posted photos from the party. Photos of Derek with a beer in his hand. Photos of him clearly drunk. They were tagged publicly on Facebook, and someone from our parents' church saw them. Within hours, people were talking, asking questions, putting 2 and 2 together. My parents called a family meeting that night. I hoped this was it. This was when Derek would come clean. when the truth would finally come out and my parents would see that I'd protected him, that I'd sacrificed myself for their golden child. Instead, Derek looked my parents in the eye and said, "Maya was at that party too. She was drinking. She's the one who pressured me to let her drive home because she wanted to practice." My mouth fell open. "That's not. I tried to stop her," Derek continued, his voice breaking perfectly, tears welling up in his eyes. "I told her it was a bad idea, but she got really aggressive. She's been acting weird lately, angry all the time. I think she might have a problem." "That's a lie," I shouted. "I wasn't even there. I was home. I covered for you because you begged me to." My mother looked between us, and I saw the exact moment she made her choice. Her face hardened as she turned to me. "Enough, Maya. We've heard enough of your excuses." "They're not excuses. He's lying. I wasn't even at the party." My dad stood up, his voice booming. "Your brother doesn't lie. You apparently do. Derek is lying right now. I took the blame to protect him. He drove drunk. He crashed the car." "Stop it," my mother said quietly. "Just stop." "Why won't you believe me?" My voice cracked. "Why do you always believe him and never me?" The silence that followed was deafening. My dad walked to the stairs, then paused. When he turned back, his face was set like stone. "Pack your things. You're out of this house." The words didn't make sense at first. "What?" "You heard me. We're done. You've embarrassed this family for the last time. You're out." "Dad, I'm 16. You can't just watch me." I looked at my mom, desperate, searching for any sign of softness. "Mom, please, you can't actually be okay with this." She wouldn't meet my eyes, just stood there, arms crossed, jaw tight. "Mom, you made your choices, Maya. Now you live with them." I turned to Derek, who was still standing there with fake tears on his face. "Tell them the truth. Please, just tell them the truth." He looked at me, and for just a second, I saw something flicker across his face. Guilt, maybe, or just awareness of what he was doing. Then he shook his head. "I'm sorry you're going through this, Maya. I really hope you get help." That's when I knew. I was completely alone. I went upstairs in a daze and started shoving things into my backpack. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, chargers. I grabbed my shoebox of savings from under my bed. About $800 I'd been saving from the diner. I grabbed my birth certificate and social security card from my desk drawer because some instinct told me I'd need them. 20 minutes later, I stood in the foyer with my backpack and nothing else. My dad opened the front door. "Out." "Where am I supposed to go?" "That's not our problem anymore." "You're 17, 16. I'm 16. He didn't even blink. "You should have thought about that before you went down this path. Maybe this will teach you something about responsibility." I walked out, heard the door close behind me. Lock. I stood on the porch for a minute, half expecting them to open it back up, to say they didn't mean it, to apologize. They didn't. I walked to the end of the driveway and kept walking. It was 8 o'clock at night. I had nowhere to go, no friends close enough to call, because I'd been so busy working and taking care of myself that I'd never really built those relationships. I ended up at a 24-hour laundromat 6 blocks away, sat in a plastic chair between the washers and dryers, and cried until I couldn't cry anymore. Then I opened my backpack, counted my money, and started planning. Because if there's one thing my family taught me, it's that I couldn't rely on anyone but myself. That first night in the laundromat was the longest night of my life. I tried to sleep sitting up in one of those hard plastic chairs, my backpack clutched to my chest like someone might steal it. Every time someone came in to do their laundry, I'd pretend I was waiting for my clothes to finish, scrolling on my phone to look normal. Around 3 in the morning, a woman with kind eyes and gray hair asked me, "Honey, are you all right?" I almost broke down, almost told her everything. But I'd learned by then that showing vulnerability to the wrong person could be dangerous. I'm fine, I lied. Just waiting for my mom to pick me up. She's running late. She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push it either. Just nodded and went back to folding her towels. By the time the sun came up, I'd made a plan. Step 1 was staying in school. I only had 1 year left before I could graduate, and a high school diploma felt like the only ticket I had to anything better. Step 2 was finding a place to sleep that wasn't a laundromat. I spent that first day walking around Portland, scoping out possibilities. The public library opened at 9, so I could spend hours there. There was a 24-hour gym that had a student discount, $15 a month. That meant showers and a safe place to kill time. By evening, I'd found my solution, at least temporarily. There was a Walmart with a parking lot that allowed overnight RVs. I didn't have an RV, but I figured I could sleep in different spots around the area and not draw too much attention. That night, I slept under a bridge near the Walmart, my backpack as a pillow, my jacket as a blanket. I woke up to someone yelling nearby, and my whole body went rigid with fear. But they weren't yelling at me. Just two people having an argument about something I couldn't make out. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. School started 2 weeks later. I showed up on the first day like nothing had changed. Sat in the same classes, ate lunch alone like always, went to work at the diner after. My boss, Linda, was this tough-as-nails woman in her 50s who'd run the diner for 20 years. She noticed something was off pretty quickly. "You're wearing the same shirt 3 days in a row," she said one afternoon while I was washing dishes. A laundry day," I mumbled. She didn't say anything for a minute, just stood there watching me scrub a pan. "Where are you living, Maya?" "With my parents." "Try again." I kept scrubbing. "I'm fine." That wasn't the question. I finally looked at her. "I'm between places right now, but I'm handling it." Linda crossed her arms. "The storage room in the back. There's space behind the extra supplies. You can sleep there at night after we close. But you clean up after yourself. You're out before my morning cook arrives at 5. And this doesn't become a permanent situation. Deal?" I almost cried. Deal. That storage room became my home for the next 4 months. It wasn't much: concrete floor, metal shelves, the constant smell of industrial cleaning supplies. But it was warm, dry, and safe. I'd roll out some cardboard boxes as a mat, use my jacket as a blanket, and actually sleep for the first time since I'd been kicked out. Linda never told anyone. She'd leave little things for me. A sandwich that was going to go bad anyway, an old blanket that was just taking up space at her house. She never made a big deal about it, just helped quietly in ways that didn't make me feel like charity. I kept going to school, kept my grades up. Nobody knew I was homeless. I'd shower at the gym before school, change into clean clothes, and show up looking as normal as possible. It was exhausting. The worst part was seeing other kids complain about things that seemed so trivial to me. Ugh, my mom made chicken again. I'm so sick of chicken. My dad won't buy me the new iPhone. I'm grounded for the weekend, and it's so unfair. I wanted to scream at them. "You have no idea how good you have it." But I didn't. I just kept my head down and survived. I stayed in touch with exactly one person from my family during this time. My grandmother on my mom's side, Nana Margaret. She lived in a retirement community about an hour outside Portland, and she'd always been the one person who seemed to actually see me. I called her from a payphone one afternoon because I couldn't risk my parents seeing her number on my phone bill. They were still paying for my phone at that point. I think they forgot to cancel it. "Maya? Sweetheart, is that you?" "Hi, Nana." "Where are you? Your mother said you ran away. That's not what happened." I didn't think so. I told her everything. The car crash, Derek's lie, being kicked out. She listened without interrupting, and when I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "I'm so sorry, baby. I had no idea I'm sorry. It's okay." "It's not okay. Do you need money? A place to stay?" "I'm managing. I wanted someone to know the truth." "Come visit me when you can. Please, I want to see you. I will. I visited her 3 weeks later, taking 2 buses to get to her place. She had a small apartment in the retirement community, 1 bedroom, cozy, filled with photos and quilts she'd made over the years. She hugged me so tight when I arrived, I thought she might crack my ribs. We spent the whole afternoon talking. She asked about school, about my job, about my plans. Actually listened. Your mother was always hard, Nana said at one point. Even as a girl, I tried to raise her better than that, but... She trailed off, shaking her head. I'm sorry she turned out the way she did. It's not your fault. Maybe not, but I see what it did to you, and it breaks my heart. Before I left, she pressed $500 into my hand. Nana, I can't. Yes, you can. Consider it an early birthday present. For the next 10 birthdays, actually. I cried on the bus ride back to Portland. Not sad tears, grateful tears, because at least one person in my family gave a damn about me. Senior year was a blur of school, work, and survival. I kept my grades high, graduated with a 3.9 GPA, and got accepted to Portland Community College with a partial scholarship. My parents didn't come to graduation. I didn't expect them to, but there was still this tiny, pathetic part of me that hoped I'd see them in the crowd. They weren't there. Derek wasn't there. Just Linda from the diner and Nana Margaret, who'd taken the bus all the way from her retirement community to watch me walk across that stage. After graduation, I moved into a room in a house with 5 other people. It was basically a closet with a mattress on the floor, but it was mine. I paid $300 a month in rent, which was brutal on my income, but it was better than sleeping in a storage room. I started community college that fall, majoring in business administration. I had this vague idea of maybe starting my own business someday, but I had no idea what kind. That changed during my 2nd semester when I took a digital marketing class. The professor, Dr. Okafor, was this energetic woman who'd worked in Silicon Valley before moving to Portland. She made marketing sound like art and science combined. Talked about SEO, social media strategy, content creation, all these concepts I'd never heard of, but immediately found fascinating. I threw myself into that class harder than any class I'd ever taken. Started staying up late reading marketing blogs, watching YouTube tutorials, practicing on fake business websites I'd create just to learn. Dr. Okafor noticed. Maya, you have a real talent for this, she said after I'd presented a mock campaign for a local business. Have you thought about freelancing? Freelancing. Offering your services to small businesses. Most of them have no idea how to market themselves online. You could help them and build a portfolio at the same time. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. I started small, really small. I reached out to local coffee shops, boutiques, restaurants, places that had basically no online presence. Offered to build them websites, manage their social media, create email campaigns for ridiculously cheap rates. Like $200 for a full website cheap. Most said no, but a few said yes. My first real client was a Vietnamese restaurant in North Portland. The owner, Mrs. Nguyen, barely spoke English and had zero online presence despite making the best pho I'd ever tasted. I built her a simple website, set up a Facebook page, started posting photos of her food with descriptions. Within 2 months, her dinner rush had tripled. People were coming in with their phones, showing her the Facebook posts, saying they'd been looking for a good Vietnamese place. Mrs. Nguyen was thrilled. She paid me my $200 and told every business owner she knew about me. That's how it started. Word of mouth. One client led to another, which led to another. I raised my rates as I got better, started learning more advanced techniques. Facebook ads, Google AdWords, email automation. By my 2nd year of community college, I was making more from my freelance work than I was from the diner. I quit my job at the diner, Linda understood, and went full-time on the business. I called it Summit Digital Marketing. I wanted a name that sounded professional, established, even though it was just me working from my closet-sized bedroom. The business grew faster than I ever expected. I went from 5 clients to 10 to 20. Started hiring other community college students to help with the workload. Rented a tiny office space in a shared building. By the time I finished my associate degree, I was making 6 figures a year. 6 figures. Me. The spare. The kid who'd been thrown out with $800 and a backpack. I moved into a real apartment. 1 bedroom, but it was mine. I bought furniture that wasn't from Goodwill. I had a refrigerator with actual food in it. I kept visiting Nana Margaret every month. She was so proud of me it made my chest ache. "I knew you'd be something special," she'd say every time. I always knew. She was the only family I had, the only one who mattered. When I was 24, I bought my first house. Not a big house, just a small 3-bedroom bungalow in a decent neighborhood. But it was mine. I'd saved enough for a down payment, got a mortgage I could actually afford, and moved in with furniture I'd picked out myself. I cried the first night I slept there, in a real bed, in a house with my name on the deed. The business kept growing. I started landing bigger clients, regional chains, tech startups, even a few national brands. Hired a full staff of 12 people. Moved into a real office with a conference room and everything. I was featured in a local business magazine as one of Portland's top 30 under 30 entrepreneurs. They took photos of me in my office, asked about my success story. I gave them the sanitized version. I started with nothing and built it from scratch through hard work and determination. I didn't mention the laundromat. Didn't mention sleeping in a storage room. Didn't mention the family that threw me away. By the time I was 26, I'd paid off my mortgage, bought the house outright, renovated it, turned it from a basic bungalow into something beautiful. New kitchen, new bathrooms, refinished hardwood floors, a garden in the back. The city featured me in a small business spotlight, putting my photo on a billboard on Route 9 with the tagline, "Portland Proud." Local entrepreneurs making it happen. That billboard. That stupid, wonderful billboard. That's what brought them back. I was at the office when I got the text. An unknown number. "Is it you on the billboard on Route 9? I stared at it for a full minute before I recognized the area code. It was from Portland, from my old neighborhood. I didn't respond. 2 hours later, my phone rang. A number I'd deleted years ago, but still recognized instantly. My father. I let it go to voicemail, then listened to the message. "Maya, it's Dad. We saw you on that billboard. Very impressive. We'd love to catch up. Call us back." No apology. "No, we're sorry for kicking you out. Just, we'd love to catch up, like we were old friends who drifted apart." I deleted the message. Over the next week, I got calls and texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in a decade. An aunt I'd met maybe twice. All suddenly interested in how I was doing, what I was up to, congratulations on my success. I ignored all of them. Then came the voicemail from my mother. "Maya, it's Mom. We really need to talk. Derek and his wife are going through a hard time, financially. They might lose their apartment. We were hoping, well, we heard you have that nice house now. Do you still have that spare room you mentioned? We'd really appreciate it if you could help out the family. Call me back." I played that message 3 times, just to make sure I'd heard it correctly. They thought I had a spare room. They had no idea I owned the entire house. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud in my car. I didn't call back. A week later, I came home from a client meeting and saw a car parked across the street from my house. A silver Honda Accord. Not the same car from years ago, but the same model my parents had always preferred. My stomach dropped. I sat in my car for 5 minutes just watching. Then I saw movement on my porch. My mother, sitting on my porch steps with a Tupperware container in her lap. I thought about driving away, just leaving and coming back later when she'd given up and gone home. But something in me needed this confrontation. Needed to see what she'd say after 11 years of silence. I parked in the driveway and got out. She stood up immediately, a smile plastered on her face. Maya, oh my God, look at you. You look amazing. I didn't smile back, just stood there with my keys in my hand. Hi, Mom. I brought banana bread. Your favorite, remember. She held out the Tupperware like it was a peace offering. I'm allergic to walnuts. I always have been. You're thinking of Derek's favorite. Her smile faltered. Oh, well, I'm sure it's still good. What are you doing here? I wanted to see you. It's been so long. I thought we could talk. About what? She set the Tupperware down on the porch railing. Can we go inside? No. Maya, please. Don't be difficult. Difficult. Right. I crossed my arms. You kicked me out when I was 16. Didn't check on me once. Didn't call, didn't text, didn't care if I was alive or dead. But now I'm being difficult. We thought you needed tough love. Tough love? You chose to believe Derek's lies over my truth. You let him destroy my life to save his own reputation. It was complicated. It wasn't complicated. It was simple. You had 2 children, and you only gave a damn about one of them. She flinched. That's not fair. What's not fair is throwing your 16-year-old daughter out of the house with nowhere to go. What's not fair is 11 years of silence. What's not fair is showing up now because you need something. We're family, no. My voice came out harder than I expected. We're not. You stopped being my family the night you shut that door in my face. Derek needs help, she said, her voice shifting to pleading. He and Alyssa lost their apartment. She's pregnant. They need somewhere to stay, just for a few months until they get back on their feet. And you thought of me. You have this big house. How do you know what kind of house I have? She hesitated. We looked it up online. The property records are public. So you've been researching me. We're proud of you, Maya. We always knew you'd do well. Stop. Just stop. I shook my head. You don't get to be proud. You don't get to show up after 11 years and pretend you care. We do care. If you cared, you would have believed me when I told you the truth. If you cared, you would have protected me instead of throwing me away. If you cared, you wouldn't be here asking for favors. You'd be here apologizing. Silence. My mother looked at the ground. Things were different back then. Were they? Or were you just protecting Derek like you always did? He's your brother. He's a liar. He lied then, and I'm guessing he's still lying now. What happened, Mom? Did his perfect life fall apart? Did reality finally catch up to all those lies you let him tell? That's cruel. What's cruel is believing I was even at that party when I wasn't. What's cruel is accusing me of being aggressive and having a drinking problem when I'd never touched alcohol. What's cruel is taking his word over mine every single time. We did what we thought was right. You did what was easy. I pulled out my keys. I need you to leave. Maya, please. Just think about it. No. I'm done thinking about what my family needs. I spent 16 years doing that, and it got me nothing. What about family obligation? What about doing the right thing? That stopped me. I turned back to her, and I felt something cold settle in my chest. Mom, let me tell you what I learned about family obligation. I learned that it only goes one way. I learned that I was supposed to sacrifice everything for people who wouldn't cross the street for me. I learned that family is just a word people use when they want something. That's not true. Yes, it is. You want me to house Derek and his pregnant wife? The brother who lied to my face and ruined my life? The brother you chose over me every single day? You want me to give them my space, my peace, my home, after you gave me nothing but a trash bag and a door slammed in my face? Tears were running down her face now. Please, we're desperate. So was I. I was desperate and alone at 16 years old, and you didn't care. We thought you'd come back. You thought wrong. I unlocked my door and stepped inside. Maya, wait. Tell Derek I said congratulations on the baby. Tell Dad I'm not interested in catching up. And tell yourself whatever you need to sleep at night. But don't come back here. I closed the door, stood there with my back against it, listening to her crying on my porch. She knocked a few times, called my name. I didn't answer. Eventually she left. I thought that would be the end of it, that my mother would go home. Tell Derek I said no, and they'd go back to pretending I didn't exist. I was wrong. The next day, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 43 text messages. They weren't from my parents. They were from extended family members. Cousins, aunts, uncles, people I hadn't heard from in over a decade. The messages all said variations of the same thing. How could you turn your back on family? Derek is struggling and you won't even help? We always knew you were selfish. Your poor mother came to you for help and you slammed the door in her face. I sat on my couch, scrolling through the messages, feeling that old familiar burn of injustice in my chest. They'd told everyone their version, made me the villain. Again, for about 10 minutes, I considered just blocking everyone and moving on with my life. I had survived this long without them. I didn't need their approval or their understanding. But then I thought about that 16-year-old girl sleeping in a laundromat. The girl who took the blame for something she didn't do because she thought it would make her family love her. The girl who was thrown away like garbage. That girl deserved to have her story told. I opened my laptop and started typing. I wrote everything. The car crash, Derek's lie, taking the blame, being kicked out with nothing, the laundromat, the storage room, Linda's kindness, Nana Margaret's support, building my business from scratch, every detail. Then I attached screenshots of my bank records from back then, showing the $800 I'd saved, screenshots of my rent payments starting when I was 17, a photo of my high school diploma with the date, proof I'd stayed in school despite everything. A photo of my college acceptance letter with no parental signature because I'd applied alone. And the final piece, a screenshot of a text message Derek had sent me 3 years after I was kicked out. A message I'd saved but never responded to. Hey Maya, it's Derek. I know we haven't talked in a while. Just wanted to say I'm getting married. No hard feelings about the car thing, right? You understand why I had to do it. Anyway, no pressure, but if you want to come to the wedding, let me know. It's going to be at the country club. No hard feelings about the car thing. Like it was just some minor misunderstanding. Like he hadn't destroyed my entire life. I'd never responded to that text, but I'd kept it. Some part of me knew I'd need it someday. I compiled everything into a single document and sent it to the family group chat I'd been added to years ago but had muted immediately. Then I added one final message. Since there seems to be confusion about what happened 11 years ago, here's the full story. I'm sharing this not for sympathy, but for truth. Derek crashed his car while driving drunk. I took the blame to protect him. When the truth started to come out, he lied and said I was the one with the drinking problem. My parents chose to believe him and kicked me out at 16 years old. I survived on my own, built my life from nothing, and I owe them absolutely nothing. If you want to judge me for refusing to house the brother who destroyed my life and the parents who threw me away, that's your choice. But at least judge me based on facts, not lies. This is the last time I'll explain myself to any of you. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Then I turned off my phone and went to work. When I turned my phone back on 6 hours later, it had exploded. 147 messages. I scrolled through them slowly. My Aunt Patricia. Oh my God. I had no idea. Susan told us you ran away. My cousin James. That text from Derek is disgusting. I'm so sorry, Maya. My Uncle Robert. Why didn't anyone tell us what really happened? Cousin after cousin. Aunt after aunt. Expressing shock, anger, apologies. People saying they'd been told I was troubled, rebellious, that I'd stolen from my parents and run away. All lies. All designed to make them look good and make me disappear. Then I saw a message from someone I didn't expect. Alyssa. Derek's wife. Maya, this is Alyssa. Derek's wife. Can we talk? Please. It's important. I stared at that message for a long time. What could Derek's wife possibly want to say to me? Against my better judgment, I called her. She answered on the first ring. Maya. Her voice was shaky. Thank you for calling. I didn't know about any of it. Derek told me you two didn't get along, that you'd had some fight about borrowing his car when you were kids, and you'd held a grudge ever since. That's one way to describe it. He said you were unstable, that you'd always been jealous of him, and that's why you cut off the family. And you believed him. I had no reason not to. She paused, and I heard her take a shaky breath, until I read your message, and I saw that text, the no hard feelings about the car thing text. Yeah. Asked him about it, asked him to explain what that meant. And he got so angry, Maya, angrier than I've ever seen him. He grabbed my phone and tried to delete the group chat, told me I was being dramatic, that you were twisting things, that his family had always babied you and you'd never learned to take responsibility. Sounds like Derek. Then I did some digging, found old Facebook posts from that time, found posts from his friends about the party, about him being drunk, about the crashed car, and I realized. Her voice broke. I realized he's been lying to me for 6 years, about you, about that night, probably about a lot of things. I didn't say anything. What was there to say? I'm 7 months pregnant, Alyssa continued, and I'm sitting here wondering what kind of man I married, what kind of father he's going to be. Because if he could do that to his own sister, if he could let you take the fall for his mistakes and then get you kicked out of your home, what's he going to do to our kid? I can't answer that for you. I know. I'm not asking you to. I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And I left him. Last night. I'm staying with my sister now. Alyssa, you don't owe me anything. I know that. I just wanted you to know that someone in that family finally sees the truth. And I'm sorry it took this long. After we hung up, I sat in my car in the parking lot of my office and cried. Not sad tears, not happy tears, just release. Someone believed me. Finally, after 11 years, someone from that family actually believed me. My phone buzzed with another message. This one from Nana Margaret. I read what you wrote. I'm so proud of you for telling the truth. Come see me this weekend. I have something important to give you. That Saturday, I drove to Nana Margaret's retirement community. She was waiting for me on the bench outside her building, a wooden box on her lap. She looked older than I remembered. Frilier. It scared me. Nana, are you okay? She smiled. Sit down, sweetheart. We need to talk. My heart started pounding. Are you sick? At 89, something's always a little sick, she said with a small laugh. But yes, cancer. Stage 4. They say I have maybe 6 months. The world tilted. What? It's okay, Maya. I've had a long life. A good life. But that's why I needed to see you. There's something I have to give you before I go. She handed me the wooden box. It was heavy, old, with intricate carvings on the lid. Open it. Inside were papers, legal documents, and a letter with my name on it. I'm leaving you everything, Nana said simply. The apartment's already paid for by the community, so that won't go to you. But I have some savings, some investments, and the house, the family house in Ashland, the one I grew up in. It's yours. Nana, I can't. Yes, you can. I've already updated my will. Everything goes to you. Your mother, Derek, your father, none of them get a penny. They're going to be furious. Good. They should be. They threw away the best thing in that family. She reached over and took my hand. But that's not why I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it to you because you're the only one who deserves it. You're the only one who built something real, who survived, who didn't need anyone to hold your hand. I opened the letter. It was dated 2 weeks ago, written in her shaky handwriting. To my dearest Maya, if you're reading this, I'm either gone or close to it. I want you to know that watching you grow into the woman you are today has been the greatest joy of my life. I have kept records. All these years I've kept records of every birthday they forgot, every accomplishment they ignored, every time they chose Derek over you. I documented it all because I knew that someday the truth would matter. Those documents are in this box. Use them if you need to. Use them to protect yourself. Use them to remember that you were never the problem. They were. You are not a spare, Maya. You are whole. You are enough. You always were. Love. Nana, under the letter were notebooks. Dozens of them. Journal entries dating back to when I was 7 years old. Nana had written down everything. Every family gathering where I was ignored. Every achievement that went unnoticed. Every time my parents praised Derek and dismissed me. Evidence. Proof that I wasn't crazy, wasn't overly sensitive, wasn't making it up. Why did you keep all this? I whispered, because I knew they'd try to rewrite history, and I wanted you to have proof that your memories were real. 3 months later, Nana Margaret passed away peacefully in her sleep. I held her funeral in Ashland, in the garden of her family home, my home now. It was small, quiet, just me, a few of her friends from the retirement community, and Dr. Okafor from college. My parents showed up anyway, stood at the back of the gathering like ghosts. After everyone else had left, my father approached me. We need to talk about the will. Not, I'm sorry for your loss. Not, we loved her too. Just, we need to talk about the will. There's nothing to talk about, I said calmly. She left everything to you. That's not right. We're her family, and I'm her granddaughter. The one who visited her every month. The one who called her every week. The one who actually cared about her. Where were you? He had no answer for that. My mother stepped forward. Maya, please. We need help. Derek lost his job. We lost the house. We have nowhere to go. That's not my problem. We're family, no. I looked at both of them, these people who'd raised me but never loved me, and felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. Just emptiness. You're not my family. You stopped being my family the night you threw me out. You want money? Get jobs. You want a house? Earn one. You want sympathy? You're 11 years too late. My father's face turned red. You're really going to do this? Turn your back on your own parents. You turned your back on me first. I'm just returning the favor. They left. I watched them get into their old car and drive away, and I felt something I hadn't felt in 11 years. Peace. Today, I'm 27 years old. I run a multi-million-dollar marketing agency with 30 employees. I own 2 houses, the one in Portland and Nana's house in Ashland. I have friends who actually care about me. I have a life I built from nothing. Last week, I got an email from my mother. Subject line, please. I didn't open it, just archived it with all the others. Because here's what I learned. You don't owe your family anything just because you share DNA. Family is about showing up, about choosing each other, about love and respect. My parents never chose me, never respected me, never loved me the way I needed to be loved. So I chose myself instead. And you know what? I'm better off for it. They called me a spare. They threw me out with $15 and a trash bag. They thought I'd fail. Thought I'd come crawling back, broken and desperate. Instead, I built an empire they can't touch. I'm not bitter anymore. I'm not angry. I'm just free. Free from the weight of trying to earn love that was never going to be given. Free from the pain of being invisible in my own family. Free from the lie that I was somehow less than, somehow not enough. I was always enough. They were just too blind to see it. And now they have to live with that knowledge. That the daughter they threw away became everything they said I couldn't be. that the spare they dismissed is worth more than all of them combined. At 16, I was thrown out with $15. Years later, my family begged to live in my $800,000 house. I said no, and I've never slept better in my life. If you're out there listening to this and you've ever been the spare, the afterthought, the one your family overlooked, I want you to know something. Your worth is not determined by the people who couldn't see it. You're not less than because someone treated you as less than. Sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Build your own life. Choose yourself. And when they come back, asking for what they never gave you, remember, you don't owe them anything. You never did. Thanks for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, please subscribe to Reddit Family Stories. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another story of people choosing themselves over toxic family dynamics. And remember, you're not a spare. You're whole. You always were.